Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Oh yeah, today we are here talking about the 15th installment of the DC animated movie universe, Justice League Dark, Apokolips War. Whew, that is a mouthful.
That's what she said. Don't you dare.
Very long title. It pretty much encompasses a lot of what the previous movies were. You know, you had Justice League Dark, Justice League War, and then let's throw in Apokolips as the third one. Boom, we got a title, guys. Very creative. We're gonna do this a little different. We're gonna do non-spoilers in the beginning here, and then a spoiler in the end. So we'll let you know when we dive into spoilers. So let's kind of talk about this non-spoiler. It looks like you can only purchase it either through Amazon Prime or Vudu or whatever your streaming service that you prefer. You can get physical as well, but right now it's $19.99 on those platforms. Not available for rental just yet. This becomes a dedication issue. How much do you really want to see this? And I say it's definitely worth the $20 to own it.
Absolutely, I would agree. Definitely worth $20. And to me, I did not regret it. I purchased it on Vudu. Immediately, the sound, the visuals for an animated movie, it's fantastic. I definitely think it's well worth the $20. Don't try to pirate this one. My recommendation would be to hear the score. I think it was incredibly well done and worth every penny.
The animation is very well done. And yes, as a lot of people have talked about, it is gory. The one thing that's funny to me is I saw Mortal Kombat Revenge of Scorpion, or Scorpion's Revenge, one of the two, however it goes. That was an extremely bloody, gory movie. And then the next one I watched was another WB animation movie, Justice League Dark, Apokolips War, very bloody as well. It feels like they just transferred right over after Mortal Kombat and just made this one just as bloody as a Mortal Kombat movie. The blood that's in this is extreme to some extent, or at least for animation for the most part. It kind of catches you off guard at first because you're just not used to seeing that with these characters. You're not used to seeing these characters kind of get manhandled in some sense.
Exactly. I did not know going into this that it actually was rated R. That detail somehow escaped me. I did not realize it was rated R. It is still kind of a fine line of rated R. Like, I would probably let my 6-year-old watch this. There are a couple cuss words in it. There's, as Matt mentioned, blood, but it's so different. It's different from a typical R-rated movie, but that being said, it does earn its R rating. And for an adult who loves these type of animated films, it really scratches that itch for you if you are into these type of films.
When I originally purchased it, started watching it, I actually went back out immediately because I remember hearing it might be rated R. And yes, I saw that glorious R for an animated movie. The negatives of this movie was it feels very rushed. The fact that they tried to limit this to 90 minutes is just a shame. It should be 2 hours. It should maybe be more. There might even should be a part 2 of this because it couldn't breathe. These things just happened so fast, one after another. And you never really got the chance to sit there and kind of absorb what was really happening in the movie because, again, it was just so fast paced.
Yeah, that was something that I had kind of questioned as well. I don't know if there's some type of mandate or just maybe some unwritten rule that studios will follow when it comes to an animated movie, but they decided to go with the R rating so you know what their target audience is going to be. It's not people with short attention spans that they are aiming at, so why they decided to keep it at 90 minutes is kind of odd, and I absolutely agree. It felt incredibly rushed. I would have liked to probably see this in a two-parter, as Matt mentioned. That would have allowed this conclusion to breathe a little bit and really give it the awesome finale, but I definitely think that the runtime was kind of a hindrance.
So it definitely encompasses a lot of the characters from the previous movies. You got Flashpoint Paradox, obviously Justice League War, Batman vs. Robin, Justice League vs. Teen Titans. You have the Judas Contract, Teen Titans, Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, Death of Superman, Reign of Superman, and of course Justice League Dark. It's kind of all the characters from those particular movies all kind of mashed into this one movie. So you imagine having that many DC characters in one movie and it only being 90 minutes. Even though we've been introduced to these characters, it's just how fast-paced it goes. Some of these very large, well-known characters are only on a screen for a moment before something major happens. So it's kind of crazy how some of that was treated for the most part. And one more additional thing I'm going to add to the non-spoiler is if you know anything about what Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2 is supposed to be, this movie might really provide some perspective for you and might make those gears turn a little bit when you watch it, thinking like, wow, it looks like they may have made an animated version of that movie.
Oh, good! No! No! Fuck, no! Justice League 2 was going cosmic as they take the fight to Apokolips and New Genesis, presumably, but we know Apokolips. And the Lantern Corps was involved. The third movie was 2 ends poorly, like Empire Strikes Back or Infinity War. So they go to space and get fucking defeated, and Darkseid goes to Earth and levels it. So the vision that Batman had in Batman v Superman, like, you know, of the fucking scorched earth, which one was that? Was it BVS or? Yeah. Yes, where he saw the fucking scorched earth and
parademons and all that shit.
That was going to be the entire third movie. The hero's last stand against Darkseid and the forces of Apokolips.
You know, the nightmare sequence in this movie, right, was always my idea that all of that would be eventually explained, of course. I mean, is that a surprise? You know, that we would end up in the distant future where Darkseid has taken over Earth with his ragtag band. And there was a few members of the Justice League that had survived to that world, and that they were fighting to try and you know, so Batman's with the broken half a cyborg, because, you know, it's only half of him because of whatever happened.
That's right, we're going into spoilers now. We're talking about every facet of the movie. Everyone dies.
And this time, it's true.
It's damn true. For the most part, almost everyone dies or is severely mangled in the process, or gets an awesome haircut for the end of the movie as well. Superman with his new suit and haircut out of nowhere, perfectly trimmed, reminded me of an anime.
I was gonna say, yep, and a perfect beard, and then now all of a sudden he's clean shaven. It was beautiful. It's almost as if Joss Whedon got his hands on this as well.
What's the best thing about planet Earth?
Oh my god! Ah!
Basically, this starts off with the League taking the war to Darkseid on Apokolips, and unfortunately, Cyborg is a mother box. He is basically a nice video feed for Darkseid, and he sees everything coming. I was a little off-put by this, that they show this big attack about to happen, and it just cuts to black. You motherfuckers, you Godzilla'd us almost. You cock-teased the hell out of us for a moment there. I thought I was gonna see this huge epic battle, expecting the League to get wiped for the most part, but they didn't even show it at all, and it just cuts back to Constantine drinking. One of the things I was very surprised about is they put a lot of shine on Constantine throughout this. With all the big name characters that are in this movie, Constantine, I think, gets the biggest shine out of all of them. And actually quite enjoyable that they focused a lot on him for the most part in this. And I really do love Matt Ryan as Constantine. I loved him in the TV show, and his voice just fits perfectly for Constantine.
They do a great job at showing his powers and really what he can do and what makes him a important part of the Justice League. So I thought that was really cool. Initially, early in the movie, when they show that he just walks away from Zatanna when she was dying, I was kind of put off a little bit of that. But then eventually it comes full circle and they explain she was actually the one who sent him away, because I'm like, that doesn't strike me as something that Constantine would do, and kind of irritated me a little bit. But then when they explain it, yeah, it really makes for a great story. I liked the pairing of those two. I really liked a lot of the relationships, even though this was only 90 minutes long, that they were able to kind of establish and show, whether it was Clark and Lois, and in this case, Constantine and Zatanna.
All Justice League members report to the hangar now.
Way to cockblock, Batsy.
Superman was injected with kryptonite, and that S, I would love to see that on a shirt someday.
Screw that, I'm getting that tattooed. One of my notes actually is, Superman gets a liquid kryptonite tattoo. That's new, but it looked badass. That was fantastic.
Definitely need a shirt for that at Hot Topic, or wherever they sell shirts these days. I don't fucking know.
You can definitely tell that a large portion of this movie is influenced by what Zack Snyder was going to do. Early on, you can tell with the Justice League going to take the battle to Darkseid, and then Darkseid pretty much just wiping out the entire Justice League. But I did like how there were a lot of characters that were utilized in a different aspect, like Batman being kind of a servant for Darkseid, or Luthor, who ends up being kind of a double agent. I thought that was a very interesting take on these characters, and they did a really good job kind of changing it up a little bit.
As we saw in Batman vs. Superman with the nightmare scene, it was Batman and a ravaged Earth, and Superman was influenced by the anti-life equation from Darkseid. Well, in this case, it's Batman. The roles have reversed a little bit. They even have the humans with machine guns in black costumes and helmets. It's almost the same thing. They just don't have the Superman patch on the side. I like the idea of Batman being saved as the ultimate tactician for Darkseid now. Not just being wiped out because he's a useless human and with no fucking powers. He actually has a purpose now, and it would make sense. He's, you know, the greatest detective, one of the greatest tacticians, even ultimately to the point of the end where he set up Constantine to kind of be the savior. It all came back around to showing Batman being the great mind that he is.
I think the most important part is the fact that he had an awesome flying chair that shoots guns and, you know, pretty much controls itself.
Hey, Batman doesn't have guns, they're lasers.
Which was in essence a sophisticated heat beam which we called a laser.
Of course, Cyborg being used as a mother box, as a central system. A Flash in the cosmic treadmill, but he's being used as a power source in this. I don't know, I saw a lot of these elements and I'm like, wow, this is just crazy how much they took from that for the most part. I have seen some people say that there was comments by the directors that they had to change some things so it wasn't so obvious that it looked like another movie that they cannot name. I saw some people saying that. I cannot confirm in any way if that was actually being said by the directors of this movie. And it also just has a lot of Crisis on Infinite Earths feel too. It's because this was the end of this animated cinematic universe. They kind of have Flash just run off into the distance and flashpoint this thing and restart the whole universe again. We're probably going to get a Wally West Flash in the next series of movies. Everything's going to start over, kind of just like Crisis of Infinite Earths, how that restarted the comics for the most part. What they did with Flash here is that he ran off and he's going to restart the cinematic universe. For the most part, I thought that was a great way to send off the universe. I did kind of want to see a little bit more justice, no pun intended, for the characters to get back at Darkseid, but for the most part, I think it worked. And also, I am so glad they didn't just cock tease Trigon versus Darkseid. I kind of felt that they were going to go this way, Trigon versus Darkseid, God versus New God. It was awesome. I loved seeing that. Made me all giddy. Gave me a little bit of a twitch, to be honest.
And even though they had some clear Snyder 5-movie arc influences, I did enjoy that there were certain things that I did not expect to happen. I did not expect them to have the Paradooms, the Doomsday Parademons. I thought that was awesome. And I also felt that there was a point where they did not nerf Darkseid by any means. You could really feel the influence that this guy has, the control that he has, whether it was Earth just being wiped out, the fact that there weren't just random times, like for example, the part with the Suicide Squad or the remaining members of the Suicide Squad with Lois. I was thinking for some reason, oh, of course Lois is gonna make it out of here. No, she doesn't. She dies. And the fact that the Doomsday Parademons had such an important part to this movie to really show the amount of power that Darkseid has. Darkseid himself was badass and you know, really put up a fight. You know, maybe you could kind of be left wanting a little bit more with the ending, but it just showed that the Justice League, all of them had lost someone at some point, and all of them because they had lost so much and they were so beaten down. And I just really liked the fact that they built up this villain, they showed how powerful Darkseid was, and they stuck to it. They stuck to the fact that there was going to be casualties in this movie. You had a little bit of Damian Wayne being revived. I felt so much weight and so much impact of this war that's going on. And I really felt like it was a war and they were left with no other choice than to start all over.
Yeah, there's a 50-50 thing with me on that one, because there is a lot of characters that just get wiped so quickly, and you only see it in a flash, no pun intended. It's like Aquaman gets ripped in half, and you see it only for seconds. It took me a double take that realized that Batgirl just gets eaten by the Paradooms, like out of nowhere. 90 minutes is not enough. We need a director's cut. We need a longer cut. It needs to be at least 2.5 hours plus. Maybe more of this movie. I need more of this movie to kind of let things breathe a little bit. And of course, Soup's magical haircut is just one of the most ridiculous things in this movie.
Yeah. So are we starting a new hashtag? Hashtag release the Peters and Sada cut?
No.
So that's our review of Justice League, Apokolips, Dark War, Paradox, New Mutants, Infinity War. Thanks again, guys, for listening. Thank you for checking out our little channel. If you want to support us, make sure you check out our Patreon in the description. Help us out there any way you can. If you can, help out the channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and all that other crap. YouTube was being friendly to us for a moment, then all of a sudden, the last 2 videos, they're like, nah, no more being friendly. Fuck you guys. Fuck your couch.
Yes, for the love of Lord Darkseid, please hit those notifications, hit that little bell, make sure you're getting the notifications, because damn, it is hard to notify you that we're releasing some shit.
It is hard times.
A computer took your place, Daddy. That's hard time. That's hard time.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.